care. 170 hospitals, 14 in Canada. There's one near you. They all need your support. Children's Miracle Network, helping local kids.
This portion of the CHEO Telethon is brought to you in part by Mitel.
We're back here for another check presentation, and I'm joined with Becky from Communications Security Establishment of Canada. Let's talk about how much you guys raised and how you raised all this money.
We had 5 separate events, so together with these events, we managed to raise, should I flip it?
Let's flip it over and see how much you guys raised.
$5,750 for CHEO.
So let's talk about why you guys decide to donate to CHEO, because there's a vote that's done by the employees year after year.
So we vote on which charity out of all the charities in Ottawa that we want to vote for, and every single year CHEO has been the charity of choice.
And why do you think that is?
I think it's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. Unfortunately, a lot of us parents have been to CHEO before, and we hope that we never have to go again, but we really want to be there for our community.
And you know that when you do have to go, the facility is just amazing. The people who work there, the staff, and just the technology that they have.
World class. We're very lucky in Ottawa.
So we want to get those phones ringing. Thank you so much to your organization for raising so much money. Let's check in on the phones and see how it's going.
Hi. Okay, here we are. We are back, as a matter of fact. Okay, so there's the first hour. Did you have fun?
I'm feeling great. I mean, the phones could probably ring a little more, though. Do we all agree with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Can you believe, though, the first hour over $800,000? I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I remember, I hate to say this, but I remember being on, I think it was the first telethon, and we raised $500,000.
Wow.
You've been here since the beginning, 34 years?
For the entire...
How were you, like 12?
Oh, aren't you,
What a charmer.
Aren't you ladies
What
so
a
sweet? Thank you so much. All right, back to work.
13, maybe.
13, yeah, it is 13.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll continue to interview our amazing volunteers. I love the stories.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
That's why they're here.
Every person has a different reason why they continue to support CHEO, and it means so, so much to us. So if you're at home, you're on the fence, don't wait any longer. Pick up that phone and make your donation.
Graham has special guests.
I do indeed, Mr. Clark. Great to see you again. Welcome everybody to the CHEO Telethon, our second hour. We're here with Wills Jones, who suffers from Crohn's disease. He's 18 years old, and he's got a great story to tell. We're going to share in just a moment. And also, no stranger to CHEO is Dan Holland, who is the first VP of Finance. Lots of stories about what it took to build this great place. Dan's going to be with us for the next hour, and I want to start with Wills. Tell us a bit about, you had the severe stomach pain when you're 17 years old, and it kind of stopped your life in its tracks. What was that like?
So you never think super bad stomach pain is going to be this big of an issue. Like, never once did I think when it first happened, like, I'm going to be in the hospital for 60 days. It was...
Right.
I was told, like, oh, like, it might be appendicitis. That's what, like, me and my parents first thought. So we go in, not appendicitis. It's probably just really bad flu. Get home, wait a couple days. It'll clear up. Never cleared up from mid-November till December. And then finally, we went back to CHEO, saw Dr. Mack, and he did a scope and gave the news that it was Crohn's, yeah.
3 months in hospital, cardiac events. We're going to talk to you a bit about that. And your life kind of stopped for a while, and now you're doing great. And we're also going to talk to you about building this place and what it took, because I think there's lots of assumptions we all make now because it's got such a deep history in the community. So stay with us this hour, and we are going to go to Melissa Lamb for another check presentation, another wonderful way to start the hour. Melissa.
That's right, and we have some young swimmers with us here this evening. We're joined with Olivia and Farah. Can you tell us where you guys are from?
Nepean Canada Barracuda Swim Club.
All right, so tell us how you raised all this money, because it's exhausting, it seems like.
Yes, so we swim 5K for 2 hours, and everyone in the club does it.
And you guys have been doing this for a long time, too.
About 40 years now.
40 years. And why do you guys decide to donate to CHEO?
It's just a really great cause, and we've been doing it for so long, so it's kind of a tradition now.
Perfect. And how exhausting is it to swim that long?
Extremely.
But is it worth it in the end to raise so much money?
Yeah.
Okay, let's flip over the check and see how much you guys have raised. $2,000. Are you going to do it again next year?
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah.
Just like all moms, I'm always concerned about my children's well-being. But sometimes they get sick, sometimes they get hurt. That's why I'm so grateful we have children's hospitals, because when any child needs a miracle, they'll do everything in their power to make one happen. With our support. Please join me in giving sick and injured children every chance to get better. Put your money where the miracles are. Please join me in supporting Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario Foundation.
Thank you to the following for making this telethon possible.
Well, it has been a very busy night here at the telethon, but we could always get these phones ringing just a little more, and that is where our volunteers come into play. We've got Neil, Nolan, Kim, and Catherine, all part of the DQ family. Now, I said that you sound kind of like a 50s folk group, Neil, Nolan, Kim, and Catherine, and Nolan jumped forward, everybody, and offered to sing. Sing us a little tune. What is it going to be, Nolan?
I offered to clear the room. I think you forgot that. If I sung, the whole room would empty out pretty quickly.
You know what? We can't empty out the room. We need everybody to stay on the phone. So let's just talk about Dairy Queen support. I know you're going to be presenting a check later this evening. Any hints of how big the total is going to be?
It'll be over 6 figures. I'm not 100% on the number, but yeah.
That's coming up just a little bit later here in the telethon. But here's kind of an interesting story. Kim here has been volunteering for a number of years. This is baby number 3 on the way?
Baby number 3, yep.
But when you started volunteering, you actually didn't have children. So now that you do, does your perspective of Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario and what they do, has it changed?
Yes, very much. It's always a fear in a mom's eyes or mind that what if something were to go wrong or God knows. But it's very easy to know that CHEO's right in our back corner and we've got it if we need it. And I know many families who've used it, and the incredible stories that come out of that place is just incredible. So we're here to support that and to keep that going and get the money that they need to keep doing what they do.
Well, we certainly appreciate your support year after year. The phones are ringing. Neil, Nolan passed on the opportunity to sing. Do you want to jump on that?
I would love to, but I'm a little bit busy.
Come on. I'm going to continue my search for a volunteer that not only wants to answer the phones, but also sing us a little tune. Catherine.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Look at beautiful Arcadia here. Her mom, Heather. How old is she now?
She's 9.
Tell us her story, because CHEO, obviously a lifesaver for your family.
Yes, absolutely. When she was born, we didn't know there was anything wrong. We went home and ended up at CHEO for an echocardiogram on her heart and found out that she had transposition of the greater arteries, which is a major heart defect, and within 24 hours she was having open heart surgery.
As a mom, new parent, terrifying, right?
Unbelievably terrified, yeah. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know anything when I handed her off. I didn't know if I'd ever get her back again. But I did.
And you sure did, and she's doing awesome. And just quickly, your angel, Dr. Maharaj, as well as the team.
He's amazing. The whole cardiology team is just incredible. We are so lucky to have CHEO here.
And we're lucky to have her here, too. Make that call right now. Now is the time. Graham?
Thanks, Catherine. We're here with Wills, who suffers from Crohn's disease and is in great recovery, and we're also here with Dan Holland, the VP of Finance, just retired after 44 years. So you've got a lot of history here. Just retired like weeks ago, but you've already been back in the office.
Couple of days.
It's a couple of days. Just got to check everything, make sure everything's all right. Take us to the early days of building this place and what it was like, because we kind of know what it's like now. $800,000 in the first hour. As JJ said, he remembers a telethon. Yeah. The whole telethon raised less than that.
That's right, Graham. You look back, the community started looking at a need for a hospital, children's hospital, back in the mid-'60s. We had a group of volunteers, a group of ladies out in Parkwood Hills who started doing fundraising teas and knitting quilts and what have you. We had a community that saw the need for a children's hospital where those kids that had severe conditions either had to travel to Toronto or Montreal.
Right.
So anyway, there was this move afoot. We They contacted the province and finally got the go-ahead in the late 60s. The community's requirement or responsibility then was $4 million. That was
a lot of money back then.
A lot of money the community raised to build the hospital, and in May 17th, 1974, it became reality.
Yeah. And always that retail, small investment, knitting parties, coffee. That's how it started, and it's still part of this.
That's correct. It's still that today. The grassroots fundraising is still there today. You'll see many events presented tonight and tomorrow, and that's the grassroots of our fundraising. We have some major donors, but you can appreciate our families are young, in the early stages of their lives. And they don't have the financial resources to make major gifts. So we are really concentrating and relying on the community events to help us out.
Briefly, you wanted to mention how people's money is handled when they donate.
Yeah. So we have very strict rules around the management of donor dollars. The Canada Revenue Agency has very strict guidelines on what we can and can't do. We report every year to them on the money we bring in, and there's a percentage of what we bring in that we have to distribute to CHEO and the Research Institute, OCTC. There's that check and balance in place. We go through an internal audit each year that ensures that if a donor gives us, we'll say $100 for the operating room, the auditors will ask us, show us the money coming in.
Show us how it went there.
Show us it going to the OR and showing how it was spent and did the receipt get issued and so on and so forth.
It's good to know when you make that phone call tonight, which we hope you will, that is the kind of rigor that this organization takes with its and your money. Speaking of money, let's head over to Melissa Lamb.
And we have a really big check to flip over, but before we do that, we want to introduce you to Julie Lupinacci, who's from Hydro Ottawa. Let's talk about how this money was raised.
Sure. We last year had a campaign running that basically asked all of our customers in the community to move over to either e-billing or pre-authorized payments, and with that, we're donating $5, or we collectively put together $5 per customer that did that, and we were able to raise a big chunk of change for CHEO, which we're very excited about.
And why is it important for you guys to donate to CHEO?
Hydro Ottawa is a community-owned asset, and we've been serving our customers in this territory for over 100 years, for 100 years this year, and it's really important for us to give where we live, and CHEO is a great foundation to be able to do that.
Okay, let's flip over that check. $100,000. Over $100,000 raised. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now let's check in with Sarah and Catherine.
Well, Melissa, every volunteer here at the telethon has their own story. Charlie, why did you want to volunteer your time tonight?
Well, I think it's such an important organization, and I have a very good friend, Cole, who has benefited so much from the CHEO Hospital. If it wasn't for them, the bottom line is he would still not be alive today. So I think it's, just really good to pay tribute to all they did for him.
You just received a phone call from the Ottawa Valley. What was the message that you were given?
So I got a call from Renfrew, which is where your hometown is, and a lot of my family. So hello to all the CNACs up in Renfrew. And she wanted to encourage all the grandmothers who live in Renfrew to donate. But I think we should extend that to everyone in Renfrew should donate.
Let's get those telephones ringing, whether you are from Renfrew, Arnprior, Pembroke. We will set the dispute aside tonight to come together to support the telethon.
Anna, tell me about this handsome young lad here.
This is my son, Emmett Stanky, and he was born at CHEO, or he was born in Ottawa, and we took him to CHEO when he was 13 days old, and he was diagnosed with a heart defect that he had to have surgically repaired. So he had, at 13 days, he had open heart surgery, and Dr. Maharaj was his surgeon. A fabulous surgeon, and we really appreciate that he was here to do it for us.
Why should people get these phones ringing tonight?
Just to ensure that we have the technology that they need to use and all the things that they require for for doing surgeries and for helping the children, because it's very special technical instruments that they have to use to be able to help them.
And important to have in our community. You can also text CHEO to 45678. So make that donation now. Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, Catherine. Another great story that we're hearing lots about, stories like that everywhere you turn tonight. Someone has one, and Wills has one as well. He suffers from Crohn's disease. Incredibly painful, Wills. What was it like when you finally discovered what it was? Can you describe the pain?
It's unbearable. Like I physically couldn't find a comfortable position to lie down in. So I'd always be moving, trying to find a more comfortable position. Dr. Mack said it's like when a woman's giving birth, like the dilations and stuff. So
that's pretty intense pain.
Yeah, it's that
Crohn's
bad.
disease is probably the only time a guy can say that and get away with it, ladies. You thought it was appendicitis, but it was obviously much more severe.
Yeah. So the one thing the emergency room is really good at is finding appendicitis, and then after that, because there's so much more follow-up to do for other stuff, and it's really hard to book the OR space. They simply just can't say, okay, well, you can come in for a scope in 2 weeks, when maybe they'll book the OR space, and then you'll say, oh, well, all the pain went away. I'm good now, and they have an empty OR. So.
And you weren't good. What did they end up doing? How much did they have to take out? Just give people a sense of how severe this was.
They had to end up taking out about 3 feet of small intestine.
Wow.
Which it sounds like a lot.
Major.
It sounds like a lot, but you've got about 40 feet in there, so.
So it's no big. So it's no big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal. What was recovery like, and how are you doing now?
I'm doing great now. Recovery was surprisingly fast, because once they took out the piece of intestine that was really bad and it had fully closed up, the disease was pretty much like gone away. Like I still have to get treatment and stuff for it so it doesn't flare up, but all the really bad stuff had gone away, so I could eat anything. And
did you notice it almost right away?
Yeah.
And what was that like, waking up and knowing that they'd found it? Must have been.
It was really exciting.
I bet. Yeah.
Like I think the first day, I remember I said to my parents, like, it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
And like that to me I was so happy. Just like it had been so long with just stomach pain and dealing with that to not have that stomach pain anymore was really relieving.
You had to give up squash, you said, right?
Yeah, squash.
And soccer?
Rec league soccer.
Rec league soccer.
Yeah.
You're back at that now.
Yeah.
You missed a lot of school, but you got a bright future. And you must have a tremendous sense of relief.
Yeah, for sure. It's really relieving to know that like that's sort of behind me, and then I have that to always fall back on as a great experience.
All right, that's Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
And you're only 18.
Yeah.
Remember 18?
No.
We're going to talk more to Dan and Wills in just a moment, but some call them the heart of the hospital. CHEO is looking for mature volunteers to make a difference in the lives of patients and their families. Let's go to Katie Griffin.
They're going to Clinic C4, and it's down here.
Terry Hickey has been a familiar face at CHEO for 20 years.
I assist the parents and the patients to locate their clinics.
He started volunteering after his son was treated here and hasn't stopped.
I like interacting with the patients. I like interacting with the parents and being able to assist. It's great.
He's one of many volunteers at the information desk.
Good morning, may I help you?
They're the first people patients see and help them get to where they need to go.
And it'll be the second one on your right. All kinds of people come in, from different ethnicities, speaking different languages. They all have different needs. Some of them are super relaxed, other people are super tense, and they need to be told where they need to go. And so it keeps us on our toes, having to answer those questions.
Our biggest group of volunteers are
assigned to our Child Life program, which manages the Playroom program.
More than 500 volunteers help out in various parts of the hospital, from the info desk and emergency department to the Child Life program. But there's a need for more.
The ideal volunteer really is somebody who is outgoing, able to reach out to our clients, initiate conversation quite easily, friendly, approachable. Having additional language skills is definitely a bonus. An empathetic individual who has time and energy to dedicate and really who wants to make a difference in somebody's life.
Ideally, CHEO says volunteers would be non-students available for a few hours at least once a week. There's also a need for Arabic-speaking volunteers.
Arabic-speaking volunteers can help refugees from Egypt, from Syria, from Lebanon, from Jordan. So the language helps with a huge variety of people that can seek healthcare here at CHEO.
CHEO says volunteers support and enhance patient care. For the volunteers, it's time well spent.
If you just say good morning, bonjour, it puts a smile on their face, it relaxes them. So it's in French we say valorisant. It makes you feel that you're contributing.
And we are joined with our friends from RE/MAX. We have Jeff, Patty, and Kevin with us this evening. Can you tell us how you guys raised this money?
Well, a collection of RE/MAX agents donating portion of their commissions yearly, and that's what we get total at the end of the year.
And you've been doing this for a long time, right?
A long time. It's important to us to give back to the community because we make our living from the people, so we want to give back.
And what's with the Superman costume tonight?
Superhero Day.
Is it like the one day you have an excuse to wear it?
No. And
You also volunteer time. I did see you on the phones earlier as well. Is it important to give back as much as it is to raise money?
it's so important. People thank me, they send texts, and I'm sure to everybody. But you know what? We get more out of this by volunteering than they could possibly imagine.
All right, should we flip over that check? Because it is a big check. Let's flip it over and see how much you guys have raised. Can you give us the grand total in case they can't see the big number here?
$107,912.
Amazing. And we want to continue to get that money in, so we're going to check in on the phones and see how the calls are coming.
Well, Melissa, we've got a mother-daughter duo here with a very sweet story. Laura, talk about your experience with CHEO.
So in 2009, Brooke was airlifted from Kingston to CHEO with a bleed on her brain. She was told that she would, I was told that she would never wake up. She woke up, she fought it. We were told she'd be paralyzed. She's answering the phones today. She's an amazing miracle. Thank you, CHEO.
Yes, please, a round of applause for Brooke. How does it feel?
It feels amazing to be back. Yeah.
I know the road to recovery was so long, Laura. What was your experience like with CHEO?
CHEO was amazing. She was in the hospital for 6 weeks in rehab, learning to read and write and walk again. And then we had monthly appointments for 4.5 years. She's in remission and everything is looking amazing.
Brooke, you embody the CHEO hero. Do you feel amazing?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let's show Brooke and her mom Laura some love here at the telethon.
And Sarah, it's not just the volunteers, but the staff at CHEO. Cami is one of those staff members. Thanks for being here. You're working on your night off, eh?
I am. I just like to give back because I work a lot with our families. So it's multicultural, diverse families, immigrant families, and so families that just came to Canada, a lot of our Syrian refugee families. And so it makes my job so rewarding just to be able to help out and have the families get on their feet and have the stabilized life that they've always wanted for themselves.
Well, and you're a social worker, so you're dealing with families at the most difficult moments of their lives, right?
Yeah, it's just hard at times, just trying to cope and trying to get by and everything. And so I do a lot of mindfulness breathing, and it's just at the end of the day, if you can breathe, everything else will fall into place, just one day at a time is what we always say.
If you can breathe and if you can make a call, right?
Make a call, for sure.
Because look, we need these phones ringing. What is going on here? Make the call right now.
Every child deserves hope and healing, specialized care. 170 hospitals, 14 in Canada. There's one near you. They all need your support. Children's Miracle Network, helping local kids.
We are here with Wills Jones, suffers from Crohn's disease, and we're also here with Dan Holland, VP Finance, 44 years at CHEO. He's just retired. You wanted to talk about endowments, and what is an endowment, first of all?
Well, Graham, as you know, there's many ways to support CHEO. An endowment is the gift that keeps on giving, if you will. So our threshold is, say, $10,000 to start an endowment fund. And the way it works is that money is invested within our investment policy statement. It's well managed through institutional investors. We have an investment committee that oversees that. And the way they work is that 80% of the interest that those funds earn go towards the purpose for which they were set up. So
80%?
80% of the interest.
Of the interest.
The 20% differential goes back into the capital to grow that principal amount in perpetuity. So you have sort of a double-edged advantage where you're supporting the hospital with the 80%.
So your $10,000 that, let's say, pick a number out of the hat, 4%, at 4%?
6%.
6%. So 80% of that 6%.
Goes towards the purpose.
Goes to the purpose. You keep 20% back into the principal.
Yeah, and it continues to grow over time and can be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over a period of time. And it's a vehicle where you can continue to contribute. Family members can donate to it. You can set it up as a memorial in memory of a family member or anybody else that you may choose.
It's a way to, and is there a minimum for an endowment?
There is. It's $10,000.
It's $10,000.
Yeah. But you can work towards that.
You can work towards that.
Make donations, get your tax receipt in the process.
Right.
We have one large endowment that supports Roger Nielsen House. It's one that the Ottawa Senators Foundation has been supporting over the years, along with the CHEO Foundation. And the hope there is to get to $10 million in the next few years to sustain the operating costs of Roger Nielsen House, the portion that's not paid by the province.
Same principle.
Same
80%
principle.
back to Roger Nielsen's house, 20% back to the endowment.
Exactly. So it's a nice way to support CHEO.
And it's a good thing to learn about endowments from the finance guy. Not bad. That's great. 3,000 people roughly work at CHEO, but there's also an army of volunteers helping out. Michael O'Byrne is with some of them at CHEO.
So why are 4 adults sitting in these tiny chairs around this little table in a CHEO playroom? Well, this is where volunteers here at CHEO spend a lot of time. George, you've been a volunteer since earlier this year?
Since September.
September.
Yes.
Why do you volunteer?
I volunteer because I think that being a mom or a dad is a very difficult job, and I find that, bad enough to have a healthy kid, somebody who's really sick that needs a break, or just to come in and relieve the parents and take it. I love cuddling babies too, so that
nice.
helps. So, yes.
Well, CHEO works hand in hand with the Ottawa Children's Treatment Centre, and that's where Amy volunteers. Amy, how rewarding is it?
It's extremely rewarding to be able to make people smile when they're going through really tough times, things that you have no control over personally, but things that you can help with and make better, even in some small way, even in a goofy, silly way. It's extremely rewarding.
Goofy and silly is fun.
Definitely.
Yeah. Nanette, you work here at CHEO, Nanette LaBelle. How important are volunteers?
Volunteers at CHEO and the treatment center are extremely important. They bring such diversity and energy to the environment, a tremendous support to our patients and our families. It really is all about enhancing the patient experience.
How many volunteers are there at CHEO?
Well, combined with the hospital and the treatment center, we're looking at over 600 volunteers.
600 volunteers?
Yes, 600.
Wow. And they do all sorts of volunteer kinds of work?
The roles that we can offer our volunteers are quite diverse, which we're very blessed and very fortunate. And so they range from everything to the playroom environment, to being the main lobby greeter, to helping out for respite programs, everything from the emergency department support to the surgical unit, where we have families waiting after they've dropped off their child for surgery, and our volunteers help be that liaison between the nursing staff and the parents.
George, what's the most rewarding part for you?
Just being able to relieve somebody that's going through a rough time with their child. Just, it's I just love it. I just love being here. So I think it's an extremely rewarding feeling.
Amy, what's the best part for you when you work with these kids and their families?
I think the best part is you sort of develop a sense of community, and it's not quite family because obviously you're not related to them, but you feel like family because they see you, they get excited, and you see them, and you get excited, and that's something that you can't get just anywhere. That's something that you get through time and through hours spent with them.
How attached do you get to some of these kids?
Very attached. Very attached, which is inevitable, and it's heartbreaking sometimes because, you know, not everyone stays. Some people leave, some people go to other programs. We had a little girl pass away in the fall. It's very hard, but it's something worth doing.
Yeah. George, one last question to you. How attached do you get?
You can become very attached. There's been a few little babies here that I've become attached to, but it's just so happy to see them go home. That's what I like to see. Just let them go home.
Thanks for all you do, guys.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Very special people. We'll be back at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario if we can manage to get out of these little chairs.
Yes.
I have Kevin Grimes with me from RE/MAX. We couldn't ask for better partners. I mean, you've been all over this telethon for the last hour and a half. It's great.
We've got a lot of people here answering the phones, and certainly we're thrilled to be here. It's a wonderful partnership for RE/MAX.
Well, you're volunteering on the phones. You're giving us a huge check. You've got the Miracle Homes, and now you're going to sponsor our next Miracle Match for how much? Flip that over there. Kevin, thank you. $3,000 Miracle Match brought to you by RE/MAX. Kevin, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, let's do this. 3 minutes on the clock, and let's raise some serious dollars. Telephone number, easy peasy. All you have to do is call us. 613-738-1450. It's a $3,000 Miracle Match brought to you by RE/MAX. Again, another great donation from RE/MAX. And you heard earlier about, you know, how involved RE/MAX has been over the years, and it has been many, many years. And now here they are sponsoring our third Miracle Match of the 2017 edition of the CHEO Telethon. 613-738-1450. That's your telephone number, and up to $3,000. They're going to match you dollar for dollar. That's a great deal for the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. We've got Dan Holland here. Dan knows all about finance. And Dan will tell you there aren't too many places where you can get a 100% return on your investment. But this is one of those places right here, right now. A 100% return on your investment thanks to RE/MAX. With 1 minute and 38 seconds left, call us at 738-1450. That's 738-1450. You can call us toll free at 1-888-738-1450. Doesn't matter how you get to us. You can get to us on the internet too. Want to do that? Text CHEO to 45678. RE/MAX will match you. It'll be a miracle too. And still a ton of time to get involved and make your donation. $100 becomes $200. $500 instantly becomes $1,000 to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario because you were good enough to call and wise enough to call during this very special time of our telethon. A RE/MAX $3,000 Miracle Match. 738-1450, that's the number to call, 738-1450. All of these telephones, we got to get them all ringing here. We're almost there. We're close. Join in the fun. Join in the giving. And I guarantee you'll feel real good when you hang up that telephone because you'll know that you've done something really special here for our children, your children. 613-738-1450. That's our telephone number. It's a RE/MAX $3,000 Miracle Match. We want to thank RE/MAX for all of the help they've given to us over the years and for helping us make a miracle happen right here at the EY Center.
And we are joined with the gang from Mitel. Amy, can you tell us who you brought in with you here tonight?
Yes, I'm really excited. I've got a group of our colleagues, Jean Renaud and his team, who keep the phone banks running, so thank you for everything you do. And then two of our super moms at Mitel, Natasha and her beautiful son Quinn, and Loretta and the lovely Mr. Michael have joined us. Natasha and Loretta obviously have been using the services of CHEO, as most of us have at some point in our life when we've got kids. And so this is a very personal event and a great use of our technology. We couldn't be happier to be here.
Amazing. Okay, let's flip over that check and see how much the donation is for.
Here we go, Michael.
Do we know what that number is? $50,000. That's a big number, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to keep those phones ringing, don't you?
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody to call in?
I got in.
And let's check in on those phones that are provided by Mitel. So thank you so much for that tonight, Sarah and Catherine.
Melissa, we've got sisters Donna and Darlene. Now they're going to be volunteering their time tomorrow at the Diabetes Walk, but today they are here for the 11th year supporting CHEO. Darlene, introduce me to Andrew.
Andrew is my very special son who was diagnosed with a very rare kidney disease when he was 2 years old. So that's when our journey at CHEO began. Unfortunately, one of the medications he was taking to treat his kidney disease gave him type 1 diabetes when he was 10. So we've visited many clinics at CHEO, and we come back here for the 11th year in a row now to say thank you. It's our small way of saying thank you for saving Andrew's life, because he was almost in a coma at one point, and so they saved his life, and we're so very grateful.
It means so much to have your continued support. And Donna, I understand we're missing one piece of the puzzle here today.
We'd like to give a shout out to our younger sister, Deb, who couldn't make it here tonight, and our 11th year here. So, hi, Deb.
Everybody, let's hear it for Deb, Donna, and Darlene, three sisters who have volunteered their time here at the telethon for the last 11 years. Catherine.
You know, Sarah, the one thing that makes volunteers here happy are big donations. Catherine, you just received one. Tell us about it.
From $500 from Mr. Jacobs, and he said that his youngest grandchild spent his first 18 years in CHEO. He wasn't expected to live past 2 years old, and he's now in his 30s.
$500! Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jacobs.
Yeah, you like that call. You've been doing this for a long time, right?
It's my 8th year.
Yeah. And tell us why you're doing this.
My daughter's friend was in CHEO for a while, and she died of leukemia at age 16, Brianna, and so she came, and then I just continued, and it's been 8 years. It's great to pay back.
Well, we're so happy to have you here. We're so happy you received this donation, $500. We'd take $500, we'd take $1,000, we'd take $1, whatever you can give. The number to call, 613-738-1450, or you can text CHEO to 45678.
Thank you, Catherine. A great message, whether it's a large donation or a small one. We're here with Dan Holland, who is an expert in handling all that money, retiring VP of Finance. And we're also here with Wills Jones, who suffers from Crohn's disease. And you had some complications as they were going through diagnosis and also surgery. Tell us a bit about, you had a cardiac event, 3 of them. What happened?
Yeah, so what happened with me is because they didn't really know what was going on at first, they put me on a course of steroids that were supposed to help with what they thought it was, to sort of help my body cope with what was going on. And because of that, when they tried to take me off, I started to run off just adrenaline, which really isn't good for your body. So when they put me back on to the steroids for a bit, my adrenal glands had completely sort of shut down.
Wow. What was that like?
You don't notice the feeling because they had me on a course of steroids that they were putting into me every day. I didn't notice until they started to try and take me off, and I had these cardiac events where my blood pressure went way down, my heart rate went way up, and that can cause a heart attack.
Sounds scary. Were you scared?
I didn't really know what was going on, and the nurses would start to come in more frequently, and I just knew, like, yeah, my blood pressure's low and my heart's way up. So it's the way that staff manages it is they don't freak out about it, and that way you don't. Like, I had it happen to me Super Bowl Sunday, a week after that, and then a week before my surgery. And my surgery was on a Sunday, and I remember thinking, it's Sunday nights. It's gonna happen to my surgery, and I was a little bit stressed for that, but thankfully it didn't happen. And
did you get to watch the Super Bowl?
got to watch the second half.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did the Broncos win? Who won?
Yeah,
Do you remember?
It was the
Of
Broncos.
course.
Yeah, we had our friends come to watch in the cafeteria with us.
So you still have those moments, right? It's important, those small moments, right? You're under
And
stress, you want to watch the Super Bowl.
And the staff made sure, too, they're like, hey, we got to get this dealt with so he can get down and watch the Super Bowl with his friends.
Nice.
It was great.
That's the CHEO staff.
That's good. That's great. All right, let's head back over to Melissa with another check. Melissa.
We are joined now with Richard from the Maple Leaf Almaroche Club. Can you introduce some of your club members here tonight?
Absolutely. Beside me here, I have my daughter Bianca, and then we have Cadence Abraham, we have Rain Abar, and then we have Kaylee Abraham and Marika Bar.
Amazing. So what do you guys do at your club?
Well, most of us here are dancers. We're part of a German dance group at the club, but we also have competitive shooting and cards, and we're just a social club that was founded by a bunch of Germans back in the early 50s and sort of grounded in 1964. So we've been around a while.
And you guys did a lot of fundraising. Can you tell us how you raised this money?
Well, I did the loom bracelets and loom rings. Raina and Marika, they did cards and they drew pictures for Valentine's Day. And my sister right there, she did clay figures like pie and all that.
Amazing. Okay, let's get ready and flip over that check and see how much your events have raised. Can you guys flip over the check for us? $11,500. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to the following for making this telethon possible.
Every child deserves hope and healing, specialized care. 170 hospitals, 14 in Canada. There's one near you. They all need your support. Children's Miracle Network, helping local kids.
And we're joined now. We have another check presentation. Adam is here from Pizza Pizza. Let's talk about how you guys raised your money.
We do a Slices for Smiles promotion a couple times a year, so a portion of the proceeds goes to CHEO Foundation, and I'm happy to do it every year.
And why are you guys happy to support CHEO?
I've actually taken my little guy here once. He wasn't feeling very well, and we took him to CHEO, and it was the excellent care while we were here.
All right, can we flip up over the check and see how much you guys have raised? Grand total, $32,299. How can people look forward to donating next year? Because you guys do this several times a year, right?
Yeah, we promote it online, e-blast, and we also do it with marketing and commercials. Slices for Smiles, it's usually a 2-week promotion, and you just come into the store, buy a pizza or a slice, and that's how you can contribute.
Amazing, we'll look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Having visited Children's Miracle Network hospitals, I can tell you they are amazing places. It takes tremendous resources to care for sick and injured kids and to keep them smiling and laughing even during their toughest treatments. That's why donations are so very important. Please join me in supporting your children's hospital so every kid has a chance to get better. Put your money where the miracles are. Give to Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario Foundation.
And we thank everyone who has started to give tonight. We're hoping people will give more. We're here with Dan Holland, who is the outgoing or the retiring VP of Finance, and also with Will Jones, who suffers from Crohn's disease and who's telling us all about what he went through at CHEO. Dan, I wanted to talk about the future and what challenges, big challenges money-wise, the foundation, the hospital faces. Even though you are doing less in your retirement, what sorts of things are on the horizon?
Well, it's always the challenge of keeping current with medical equipment, and you can appreciate the cost of this equipment, particularly with the young people, young patients, where the specialty is even more defined and more expensive. Our ongoing challenge is continue to raise the funds that the hospital is continuously requiring.
Mm-hmm.
Research is a big component of our fundraising, where we raise money for research for the researchers who have an idea of a particular plan, and they need some seed money to see if it's worthwhile taking forward to obtain federal funding. So that seed money that we are able to forward to them can translate into millions of dollars in a full-blown federal funded research project. The other challenge we have, it's ongoing, where I think I mentioned earlier, our supporters, our young families have limited resources, unlike an adult hospital where patients there are in a later stage in their life and have more resources financially. We are continuing to face that challenge of raising major gifts, major money to support the hospital, the research.
Which speaks to all of the support here today and this weekend about why that's so critical, so critically important, whether it's the big Walmarts, the Costcos, or the Beavers and the car washes, right?
Exactly.
And they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Let's head back to the phones. We're going to talk to Sarah and Catherine one more time this hour about those phones ringing.
Well, there's no shortage of fun over here at the phone banks. Who out here in tonight's group of volunteers is a CHEO Mom Squad member? Okay, I assume there were a few more than that. We've got Krista and Stephanie. They are part of the squad. Krista, tell me a little bit about Casey's story.
Casey was 10 years old and she went to CHEO with what we thought was the flu, and it turned out to be a birth defect that was not discovered until she was 10. And 2 major life-saving surgeries later, she's a happy and healthy, athletic young lady that she should be. And it's all because CHEO rocks.
And Stephanie, I know you've got 3 boys, but the youngest, Lucas, what was his experience with CHEO and yours?
Oh, yeah. So Lucas was born on Christmas Day 2012. He was born 8 weeks early and in kidney failure. We had nothing in our history to sort of indicate that this was going to happen, but he was sent to CHEO. And CHEO discovered that he had a ruptured bladder, and they repaired it with miracle equipment that they have to operate on 8-week premature babies. And they've restored him to health, and he's now a busy, very busy 4-year-old boy. And we're super, super lucky to have CHEO. So we're just giving back now.
These are the children that you are helping when you make these donations, so pick up the phone and give us a call. Kathy.
All right, thanks, Sarah. And yeah, we need to get these phones ringing. And as we've spoken with a lot of these volunteers, how about some more CHEO staff? Kim, you've been doing this for how long?
About 6 years now.
And I heard you sent a little email to Chloe here, right?
Yeah, we had a team from our department here this year, and I sent an email out to a few staff saying, come on, let's do it again. And Chloe came along this year, so this is her first year.
Your first year. How's it going so far?
It's going well. It's always really exciting when the phone rings.
And it's not ringing yet, so we need to get the phone ringing. How about a little challenge out to other CHEO staff to get them to pick up the phone? What do you think?
That's a great idea. If anybody's watching, give us.
Of course they're watching. Of course they are. So CHEO staff, pick up the phone. Everyone pick up the phone and call in. Now is the time to make that donation to such an amazing cause.
I'm joined with Abby and Olive from the Richcraft Center. Can you talk about how you guys raise this money? Because there is a big check that we have to flip over.
Right. So when I was 3 years old, actually, after back-to-back colds, I got bacterial pneumonia, and I had to spend a full month in the hospital because of that. And it scared my parents so badly. I'm their only child, right? So ever since then, the moment I got my first job as a karate instructor, I've been donating a part of my salary ever since, right? But this year, I felt I can't be the only one who wants to donate, right? So I decided to ask my coworkers, people who went to the pool, if they wanted to donate some money, and here we are today about this turnover, this check.
Were you surprised when your coworkers kind of matched you and kept on donating and donating and donating?
I wasn't expecting to get this much money. It was awesome.
All right, let's flip over the check and see how much we have. Do you want to give us the grand total?
We got $1,370 this year.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
But we want to keep those phones ringing, so you really want to encourage people to call tonight, right, and give their donations?
Please call everybody. Every dollar counts, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah and Catherine.
Well, she did have a massive smile on her face, but that has disappeared. You're looking a little pale. You were so excited a moment ago.
Oh, I'm very excited to be here. Absolutely.
So 8 years, Elizabeth has been donating her time here to the telethon. Where did it all begin for you 8 years ago, though, with CHEO?
Well, it actually began as a volunteer baby cuddler. And I have to say that it's the absolute best volunteer job I've ever done in my life, because kids are so very important to all of us, and they are our future.
we need to take a moment and thank all of our volunteers, Elizabeth, Krista, Stephanie, so many incredible stories that we have shared here tonight. So when you consider picking up that phone and making the donation, just know that every dollar is going to support the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. Thank you to all of our volunteers and of course everyone at home who has donated. Kathy.
Thank you, Sarah. We spoke with Nisha before because she received that nice $500 donation. That was your first call, but your luck kept coming in because you've got some nice donations since then, right?
That's right. I got another 2 calls at $100, and I think I have a lucky phone. So I hope more keep calling.
You should just stay here all weekend. What do you think?
Sure, I'd be happy to do it.
And you're here because Sarah was talking about the Mom Squad. You're one of those Mom Squad girls.
I'm one of the Mom Squad girls. Yes, it's awesome. Woo!
We're all the Mom Squads, you know, but you go out and you go to say thank you, right?
That's right. That's right. We like to go out and thank all the companies that support CHEO, and especially the frontline staff that work at Dairy Queen, Costco, Walmart, and just thank them for taking time and for asking for donations. So thank you.
Thank you. Isn't that amazing, Jay and Sarah? I mean, people go out to say thank you. People are calling in. We're thanking every single one of them because without everyone out there, we just couldn't do this.
Absolutely. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you.
I wish I could bottle the feeling that I have right now. The energy in this room, it's contagious. Our volunteers are amazing.
Thank you for making our volunteers feel amazing. We thank you both for your time on a Saturday night.
And thank you. 34 years you said that you've been doing the telethon.
Yeah, I was only 9 when I started.
It gets younger and younger every time we talk.
How many miracle matches is that?
Quite a few.
A lot of talking.
Quite a few.
You're the best at it. You're like the king.
Thank you very much, ladies.
A fantastic crew right there. What a great couple of hours, and JJ will be staying with us. And thanks to Sarah and Catherine for being here. Wonderful energy, they are right. And we are going to say goodnight to Wills and to Dan. And I wanted to talk to Wills just briefly about your final thoughts on what you've been through. And I'd imagine as a 16, 17-year-old, you didn't really know much about CHEO, right? And then it becomes a big part of your life?
Yeah, so I didn't know much about CHEO other than you go there when you break a bone.
Right.
So, you know, me and my sister have had our fair share of those being athletic kids, and you know, I go there for this and I get admitted, and it's just totally scary, different world, and then they really make it feel like you're home. And if I have to say anything for like a reason for people to donate other than, oh, it's a great cause, is I was out with my friend at a CHEO event. I got to go to a hockey game with him, and we go and we're going to get food, and he sort of just pulls me aside and says, hey man, like, congratulations on like not dying. And that, like, to me, because like from the cardiac events, like I came pretty close.
Yeah.
You know, it clicked with me, like that's what CHEO does. Like they make sure that you don't die, and they're pretty successful with it.
And we collectively are so fortunate in this part of the world where there is treatment for that kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Because it's not an exaggeration to say it can kill you.
Sure.
What are your final thoughts on 44 years?
Well, it's been a fantastic career. Thanks to the community for their ongoing support. Thanks to the staff at CHEO who are committed to taking care of our kids. It's just been a wonderful experience, and I want to thank everybody for the opportunity.
And you know how to raise the money. And you know how
how to count it.
How to count it, which is arguably as important as raising it.
I leave the raising of the money to Jacqueline and her crew.
We're actually gonna do some counting.
All right.
You guys help us out here with our hourly total. This is the second hour. Let's have a look at our number on the big board. $1.1 million. We're over $1 million. $1,162,000. And 380. Thanks so much, everyone. What a great start for the 2017 CHEO Telethon. It is one of the hardest childhood cancers to beat. In 2-year-old Amelia DeVries, it showed up suddenly and had already spread in her tiny body. She would need aggressive treatment to even get it to the stage of being operable. Here's Kimothy Walker with the story of this tiny fighter.
For Amelia DeVries, everything changed in 24 hours.
She never really had any health problems. She was happy, full of energy. And then one night, Brian went to put her in the bathtub and took off her shirt, and there was this lump, like a large lump, sticking out the side of her abdomen, and it seemingly showed up overnight.
They called a friend who worked at CHEO who advised them to rush their only child to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario.
She said, come right here, which was good.
This is what they found.
This is tumor, yeah, this whole tumor.
A massive tumor for a 2-year-old. After many tests, it was determined it was one of the most vicious childhood cancers, neuroblastoma.
The original tumor itself was 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters by 13 centimeters, which for a 2-year-old is basically her whole abdomen. Like, that's a big tumor. It had spread to her bones, her arms and her legs, I think her pelvis, her bone marrow, a few spots in the tissue near her spine.
While terrifying, doctors around the world in partnership with CHEO have made incredible advances in fighting this type of cancer.
The big advancement is we have this chimeric antibody therapy. So that it was a study that they originally did comparing chimeric antibody to a drug called retinoic acid. And they actually had to stop the study midway through because it increased the survival by 20%, which doesn't happen in cancer, in pediatric oncology, let alone oncology. So it's a huge, huge advancement.
Previously, neuroblastoma had a survival rate of just 20 to 30%. Now it's about 70%. But it's still hard to defeat, and it's best to get it the first time around.
If neuroblastoma relapses, it's very, very challenging to treat, and it's very hard to treat with curative intent. There are some kids that will survive, have relapsed neuroblastoma, but it's really, really challenging.
They said in our meeting, if this had been 10, 15 years ago, we would be having a very different conversation.
But that means Amelia needs aggressive chemotherapy to reduce the size of the tumor. And then she will need a stem cell transplant. It's very hard for a 2-year-old. Really, really hard.
Wow, you're brave.
You want a sticker?
No.
It eats you up inside. It's hard.
Can we lay down for 1 second?
Can you slide back for a second?
No, please.
Just for 2 seconds.
And now the chemotherapy is in. But so nerve-wracking for her parents, who know they need to see a difference in the size of the tumor to move to the next stage to save her. Remember, this was before. And this is the result.
This is the tumor after chemotherapy, more than 70% to 80% decrease in the size.
Well, that's good news. It means now surgeons will need to remove the huge tumor, and that's going to be difficult, as it's so invasive.
We are at the point where we feel it's safe to go ahead and do an incision in the abdomen and hopefully take out the tumor completely without, of course, injuring other organs in the abdomen. So we have to be very careful today in taking it out without injuring other structures.
The tumor is close to her kidneys, spleen, stomach, and pancreas.
We'll take good care of her, we promise.
The surgery takes about 3 hours, and they get almost all of the tumor. The rest of it is too close to organs and will have to be killed with chemotherapy. Just a week later, and Amelia is home and playing with her dog and her cat.
Who wants some more?
Me. You! Except for the still required feeding tube, life looks pretty normal in this country home just outside of Ottawa. But Amelia's parents know the battle is not over. Soon, Amelia will need a stem cell transplant. Another ordeal.
You have to think positive, and even in the hard times, you have to stay positive and get through it. It's still going to be a long road after this, but this will be another step in their journey.
Another amazing story from our Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. An amazing family joins us once again this year, the Vered family. Liz Vered is with us again. Liz, thank you for your continued support.
It's our pleasure.
It's been many, many years, and you've made a huge difference in the lives of many children. I'm sure you and Arnie and his legacy would be very proud that you continue to do this.
Well, it's a very important part of our community, and we're happy to participate, and we're happy to help everything along.
Well, you're doing a great job, and you're going to sponsor our next Miracle Match.
Yes, we are.
All right, and flip that over. How much is this from Arnon Corporation? A $3,000 Miracle Match. Liz and the gang, thank you so much. Let's put that clock to good use right now, and let's raise some money for the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, for Amelia and all of the other children that have been to CHEO, and the children that will perhaps need to use the services at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. For now is a great time to call a $3,000 Miracle Match. The Arnon Corporation is reaching out once again with a substantial donation, their continued support, and we ask for your continued support. And the folks at Arnon Corporation will match you dollar for dollar up to $3,000. That's why we call this a Miracle Match. Still over 2 minutes to participate. So let your fingers do the walking and get to that telephone and punch in these 7 numbers. Actually, punch in these 9 numbers, 10 numbers, 613-738-1450. 613-738-1450. Arnon Corporation with a Miracle Match this hour, with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Plenty of time to pledge your support for the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. And a perfect time to do just that, as we're in a Miracle Match right now. Always a great time to make your donation. If you like to sit back and wait for a Miracle Match, great. The important thing is that you call. And now is a great time to call. Arnon Corporation, a $3,000 Miracle Match in these first couple of hours of the 2017 edition of the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario Telethon. We're delighted that you joined us tonight. We're going to tell you some more stories and highlight just how important the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario is in our community. 613-738-1450, 613-738-1450. That's your telephone number. This is a $3,000 Arnon Corporation Miracle Match. It's a great time to call. Arnon Corporation will match your donation up to $3,000. But you only have another 12 seconds left. So call us. We'll process that call. The clock is still ticking. And we want to say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much to Arnon Corporation for making a miracle happen here tonight.
This portion of the CHEO Telethon is brought to you in part by Air Canada Foundation.
Every child deserves hope and healing, specialized care. 170 hospitals, 14 in Canada. There's one near you. They all need your support. Children's Miracle Network, helping local kids.
And speaking of Air Canada, we do have a big check to flip over from them. Jacqueline Belcito is joining us from CHEO Foundation. Can you talk about your partnership, CHEO's partnership with Air Canada?
Air Canada is a Children's Miracle Network partner and is very special to CHEO. They give us tickets so we can raise more money, a significant amount of money, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you, and help us send our champion child to Walt Disney.
Can you talk more about that champion child? Because that's an amazing experience.
It is. So a champion child, which you're going to meet tomorrow night, who's going to be on the desk, his name is Jacob. And unfortunately, Jacob has a sister and a brother, and two of the 3 kids are CHEO families. So we were very privileged to have Air Canada send the family to Walt Disney this year, so we're thrilled.
Amazing. We can't wait to hear the experience. And let's flip over this check to see how much Air Canada has donated. $55,468. It is absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Very impressive. $55,000. Also impressive. We're always impressed when Dylan Black drops by. And you drop by every year.
You know what, JJ? This is my 22nd year being a part of this telethon.
It's fabulous.
It's like my